Hey guys, I'm Jay Randall, and welcome back to my channel where I discuss wisdom for the modern man. Today, guys, I have a video that's brought to you by Real Talk with Ethan. That's the name of the channel. Please go ahead and subscribe to his channel and like the video. Today's topic, guys, is about what dating is like in your 40s. Now, I thought it was an interesting topic because it's not something that is talked about much in the men's community. I see a lot of videos on TikTok of women discussing what it's like dating in your 30s, 40s, and 50s as a woman. But as men, we don't really get a perspective on that as often. So I thought it'd be an interesting video to get into. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
I hope you guys are doing well. So I figured in this video I'd talk about what it's like to be single in your 40s. Now, this is a video that I figured I better do now because in just about 5 or 6 months, I'm going to be turning 50. So I guess the next video that I do that's like this is like what it's like to be single when you're 50. From a guy's perspective, a little bit about me. I've been single now for a while. Got out of a long-term relationship. It didn't work out, but it was still a very good one. There were a lot of good, positive things that came out of it. I was able to essentially get a family, have a son as a result of that relationship. So I'm very happy about it. Prior to that relationship, from about the age of 29 to 41, I was in a relationship with a woman that I got married to, and then we ended up getting divorced, when I was 41, about 8 years ago. So I've been single now for, about a year and a half or so, on and off, just kind of seeing some different people and all that kind of stuff. And I figured I should just talk about some of the issues that I see and that I think about, that I find in the marketplace out there, in the dating marketplace, and just some thoughts about relationships and all that kind of stuff. Now, in terms of first of all, let me talk about marriage. Like, do I think I'll ever get married again? Probably not, for two reasons. One is it's really, really difficult to find good people out there in the dating marketplace. After you get into your 30s and 40s, especially, it's like everybody that's out there is basically, it's like a secondhand store. That's where you're shopping. Like, everybody's got kids, everybody's got their baggage, everybody's got all that kind of stuff. I find that a lot of the women have attitudes, or they are completely tatted up. They got tattoos all over the place, which I don't find attractive. It turns me off. Or they have nose rings, or there's something with them that just is like, it's a modern feminism type stuff that just turns me off. It's like they're
Yeah, I agree. A lot of the women these days are very tatted up, and I know a lot of guys are into that, but personally, that's just not the way I envision my wife, being all tatted up. I notice like a lot of girls these days, bunch of leg tattoos and the ugly chest tattoo is just not it's not a good look, I like a classy look. But that's an interesting perspective that he has, It doesn't seem that there's much good options out there, at least from his perspective.
their attitudes about stuff. So that makes it, challenging. On top of, like, you have to do the work actually on the dating app to actually find people. That can be a challenge too. But even when you find them, they've got those issues. So it's like, man, there aren't a whole lot of options out there. But let's say I did find somebody. Let's say I do find somebody amazing, however old they might be or however young they might be. Because I'd probably go for somebody younger than me. It's like I'm pushing 50. It's like I could probably have a good relationship with somebody in their earlier mid 30s, probably.
Ooh, better not hear let the feminists hear you say that. Why don't you want a woman your age? Why don't you date age appropriate women? Don't let them hear you say that. Even though they might give you a pass because you said a woman in her 30s, and women in their 30s, they need to be saved. They need to be saved. So okay, yeah, save a woman in her 30s. But boy, if he said 20s, oh, they would be all over him. They would be all over him. He got lucky by saying 30s.
With an age gap relationship like that, I've been in those relationships before. When I was 29, I got involved with a woman who was 17 years older than me, so I'm familiar with age gap
God
relationships. So
damn.
I'd probably get it involved with somebody, ideally somebody younger than me, if I did. But anyway, so let's say I found somebody awesome. And would I get married to them? Probably not. I mean, it's like, well, One, it's like I was raked over the coals, for my first divorce. I'm very successful. I've got a business. I'm a multimillionaire. And man, the damage, the
Whoa.
financial damage of my first divorce was absolutely crazy. I had to pay out millions of dollars. My net worth at the
Whoa.
end of the settlement was negative, millions of dollars. I had to recover.
Hold on. Now that I was not expecting that. I thought this was a regular guy. We got ourselves a top tier individual here. Wow. Wow. I'm glad I chose this. Wow. That's an amazing perspective. This dude, multimillionaire, very successful guy, got married and experienced one of the major fears that men have when it comes to marriage and relationships. He got raked over the coals in his divorce, lost millions. He said he was negative millions. Negative millions. His net worth was negative millions. After he built himself up to make that money and become a successful guy. And it's not easy. As men, we know it's not easy to be successful, much less become a multimillionaire. And then imagine meeting one woman, and because you crossed paths in your life with one woman, all of your efforts, all the fruits of your labor come down not even to zero, but to negative millions just because you crossed paths or you got involved with one individual. This is why men in the West, a lot of men are done with marriage. We've tried it out. Well, I haven't. I've learned from people like his mistakes. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of men are just done with that. Like, I really want to hear more what this guy has to say because this is a very interesting perspective.
And I don't want to ever have to do that again, because that was horrible. That was really, really horrible period to go through in my life. So it's like I'm a huge target. Like if somebody were to get
Yeah.
married to me, they could divorce me. It's like they could take half my shit and half the value of my business. And it's like, you're not going to do that. I'm not going to let you do that. This is a relationship. It's supposed to be about love, right? It's not supposed to be about money.
And that's another thing why I don't want to well, I don't want to get married because I know the marriage laws and I know how it doesn't benefit men, like overwhelmingly benefits women. Men get very little benefit. But on top of that, I have a business separate from YouTube. All right. That's completely separate. I have a separate business and I don't want any females to have any kind of tie to that because it's going to be in my name and I don't want anyone to be able to come in and touch that. So yeah, that's another real thing. Like you are a target. If you have a successful business going for yourself, then yeah, you're a target. People are going to be, women are going to see you as as literally a target. They will seek you out knowing all of that. And so as men with resources that have something for themselves, we have to be extra careful. I don't care if you don't got anything to yourself. If you plan to have something for yourself, you need to be extra careful. And in my opinion, not get married, or in the very least, don't get legally married, or don't get married in the West.
So I could put in, if I could put in place a fireproof, impenetrable prenuptial agreement and postnuptial agreement, I would consider it. I would consider it. But the problem with that is I've heard that a lot of prenups and postnups get thrown out because they're viewed as being unenforceable
Dr.
for one
Dre.
or more reasons. So it's like, Jesus, it's like, I don't want to do that. So I don't know that I'll ever get married again. I don't know. It's like, I don't know that I'll ever get married again. That's
Don't do it,
it's
bro.
difficult to find people. The people I find are not that great. And three, it's like the risk, the financial risk of what can happen in a divorce is just not worth it. It's much better, in my opinion, as I've heard from other people, to just pursue relationships that do not result in marriage. Just pursue friends with benefits relationships or intimate relationships, or it's like your friends or your hookup partners or whatever, to just get the things that you desire out of life, that intimate connection, because we all have that need. We have a need for sex and sexual intimacy. we have a need for just being with somebody, just holding their hand, snuggling with them, being there to comfort them, being there to talk with them. We all have that need. So it's like, if you're not going to get married, you're not going to pursue a long-term relationship that is destined for marriage, you got to find a way to get the things that everybody needs, that you need, in some way, in some form or.
Isn't it funny how this guy went through literally hell in his divorce, but you don't hear him running around saying he don't need no woman, he don't want no woman. No, no, no. This guy does still want women in his life, and actually, if it wasn't for the marriage laws, he would probably get married again. From how he's talking, the only thing that's keeping him from that is the financial risk. So even after the brutal divorce that he went through, he's still not running around saying he don't need any woman. In fact, he's saying the opposite. He does want that connection with somebody in his life. He does want that intimacy. He does want that, that bond. He just is afraid, and reasonably so, rightfully so, of the financial risk. But let that be a woman. Women will just run around saying they don't need no man. Bro, it's just crazy to see the contrast.
Fashion. So you got to pursue the relationships that you think can get you there, at least as far as they can get you. So anyway, it's been super interesting. I had a great childhood. My parents are still together. They were really good role models. It's I feel like the my parents, like, it's like a relationship that was formed out of the 50s or 60s, and that's the model that they followed. And I've always looked up to both my mom and my dad, and I've always wanted a relationship with a woman like that, like a life partner like that, like a wife, like my mother is to her dad, or to her husband, to my dad. And I don't know that I'll ever find it. I don't know that I ever will, because I just think modern feminism ruined that shit for everybody.
It
I mean,
did.
sure, they're out there. Sure, there are people that are out there that are, submissive. Not in a way that, when I say submissive, some people get really off put,
The
and they
feminist.
think I want somebody to, like, control. It's like, no, I just want somebody who knows that I'm basically in charge of the household. Ultimately, for most everything, it's like, comes down to me. And so I want somebody that I can lead. I want somebody that I can lead. I want to be a leader. I want somebody who can follow me, that can be there side by side with me as a partner throughout life. And so a lot of people, a lot of women are not submissive at all. This boss babe shit that came out of the feminist movement, man, it produced a bunch of women who are really, in my opinion, pretty vile. Like, I don't find anything attractive about their attitudes, their boss bitch attitudes. I don't like it at all. I don't like this.
But a real man wants a strong, independent woman. No, no. A man who's about his money wants a woman who's about her money beside him. No, no. She could help you get the bag. We don't care. This guy is at the top of his game. He's at in the 001% multimillionaire, and he doesn't want it. And that goes for a bunch of men in his position. They don't want it. They want what every other guy wants: a submissive, loyal partner that's going to follow their lead and support them and be by their side in life. Simple. But no, we're supposed to want boss babes who can get the bag and work, 40, 50, 60 hours a week and is always hustling so to be the quote unquote power couple. Men don't want to be a power couple. We want simple. Simple.
This has been said too on other channels. Like, it's pretty well known that it's like, guys don't give a crap about how much their woman makes, or what degree their woman has, or what job their woman has. They
Nope.
don't. They don't care. We don't care about that.
Don't give a
We
damn.
care about beauty, femininity. We care about somebody who's supportive, somebody who's going to be there. It's like, we don't care about how much you make, or your degree, or all that kind of stuff. But women, like, have been on this, like, power trip movement where they're like, we want to be equal, we want all this stuff, and it's like, okay, that's fine. this is what you're gonna get. This is gonna be the end result of it. It's like because guys aren't looking for this stuff. Generally speaking, guys don't want that. They want something different, you know. And so that's super interesting. It's sad to me. It's like I look at. I feel like I was born in the wrong era. I wish I
Same.
was born in like the 1950s or something. Honestly, uh, you know, with everything that was going on and just the relationships that you could have and just the commitment that people would have towards one another with low divorce rates. Now they're so freaking high. It's like, you know, you get married today, it's like you got a 50-50 chance of getting divorced, like 80% of the time or so. It's initiated by the woman. I think it's for college educated women, I think it's actually 90%. Not college educated, I think about 70% of the time, but it's super high. Like if your woman is educated, like 90% of the time she's gonna be the one initiating the divorce, because women are hypergamous. You know, they want something better. You know, they want somebody who makes more. They want somebody who looks better. They want somebody. They want all this stuff. You know, and that's just the nature of women.
Never
But it's kind of gotten out
satisfied.
of hand, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't know. It's like a part of me. It's like I'm not gonna bullshit you. Like there are moments where it's like it's really sad for me because it's like I'm sitting here, especially at nights when I don't have my son. You know, when it's just me, it's like, geez, you know, I'm kind of lonely. Like I wish I had a partner. I wish I had a partner I could watch a movie with or just have a conversation with or all that kind of stuff. And so it does get lonely. And people have said, well, you can't find somebody because you're lonely. It's like, yeah, I get that. It's like, but you know, it is. It's like having a lifelong partner, a really good friend who supports you on multiple levels is definitely a cure for loneliness. Because even if I don't.
And see, and that's real. And I like how he's being honest. Okay, because a lot of, not all, but some dudes will, in the manosphere, will say that, well, if you got money and you're successful, that takes the place of family and you don't necessarily need a relationship. I'm not on that bandwagon, okay? I do very much think that men, even though they can be better off than women when it comes to certain things, but as we all know about the male loneliness epidemic, men get lonely too, very much so. And I believe men definitely do need a partner. Everybody needs one, women and men. Okay. The difference is men aren't going around saying they're not lonely. Men aren't going around saying that their lives are so amazing. It's you have to be honest with yourself. All right. And even if you're in your 40s, 50s, and you're a multimillionaire, you're still human and you're going to want a connection with the opposite sex. Okay? You're going to want that in some form or fashion. Sitting in your $1 million house with all your cars in the parking garage and all your fancy gadgets isn't going to take the place of a woman. Okay? We are not on that, we don't need women stuff over here. No, we're not. We do. We do want women in our lives. Okay? We just want the right women in our lives. Let the feminists run around and say they don't need men. As men, we should not be on that type of time. We do need women. Okay? A life of loneliness, a life of solitude, a life of isolation, rich or poor, is not ideal for anybody.
Don't have them around, you know, for an afternoon. I know I'm going to see them in the evening or the next day or whatever, that they're going to be there. And I can always, you know, text them or whatever, even if I'm not seeing them in person. So it's pretty interesting. Um, so anyway, so some of the stuff I've seen like in my 40s, it has gotten worse, significantly worse in my 40s in the dating market over the past couple of years. I was first back in the dating market in about 8 years ago in 2015. And at that point, it was like the first time I had been in the dating market, you know, like 12 years. And I was like, holy shit, I know nothing about what is going on here. And they have these things called dating apps. I had never used them. So that was my first foray into using those. And, you know, it's like, it takes a lot of work to find people. I was really fortunate that I met somebody amazing out of that. So it's like, I can't complain too much. But I've noticed it is much more hard to meet people and have meaningful conversations and meaningful connections on dating apps today than it was 8 years ago. So it's gotten significantly worse, in my opinion. And maybe some of you who have kind of been, using dating apps for a couple of years, maybe you have kind of similar thoughts. Chime in, add a comment, if you think about that kind of stuff. But it's gotten worse. It's gotten worse. It's not gotten better. I
Yeah.
feel bad for my son, who is 6 years old right now, because by the time he is in his 20s, like say 15 years from now,
Oh,
it's
dating's
going to
gonna
be a
be.
complete shit show.
It's
It's so hard for guys in their 20s to get women that will actually stick with them, that will care about them, really care about them, and stick with them. Guys don't really start to really have an upper hand until they're in their 30s. So it's going to take him a while. Plus, then you got the whole issue of people have already been through their first relationships, and a lot of people are going to be coming with kids,
Oh
and
God.
baggage, and tattoos, and nose rings, and God knows what.
This
15
guy
years
really
from now.
doesn't like the
Jesus Christ, I can't
tattoos.
even imagine what it's going to be like in 15 years for him. So I feel bad for him from that respect. But it's just life. I guess we all have to deal with what the hand we've been dealt, right? At the time we've been born, that our time, on this earth, it's like we just have to deal with the shit that is here. But it's been really interesting in terms of dates. I haven't really gone on too many dates. I chat with people on the dating apps. Every once in a while I'll go and meet somebody for coffee, because it's like coffee is my test. It's like I don't want to waste time. I don't care about wasting money on a dinner date. I care about wasting time and get locked into like a 2.5, 3 hour like foray with a woman that I can't fucking stand. Because sometimes people you don't see somebody's true colors until you sit down and have a conversation with them. That's why I really prefer meeting people first and foremost for coffee. And people that
Absolutely, guys. Low investment up front. I didn't say no investment. I said low investment when it comes to financial going out on dates. Okay? Because, like he said, dating right now is absolute, like, it's a crap show out there. Okay? So you don't want to be spending exorbitant amounts of money on a bunch of women who either don't turn out to be anything, nothing comes of it, or they're just not great people. All right, low investment, so you can see see her character, see if she's actually a good person. None of these fancy dates, not trying to impress her or blow her socks off. No, 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 no. This is a one-on-one. Let's get to know each other in a safe, chill environment. That's what you should be going for. A safe, chill environment where you guys can have maybe a little bit of fun, but mostly conversation to get to know each other. None of this craziness, bro, because you don't want to be wasting your time. Time is huge. Time is huge. I'm just like him. Like, I don't like my time being wasted. Also, don't be doing big, crazy, planning and, setting like, reservations and none of that stuff. Okay, because these girls flake like it's nothing. Okay, and they don't care about how much time or investment you put into it or money you put into the reservation to pre-book it. They don't care about none of that. They'll just flake if a better opportunity presents itself. They don't care. So low investment on your part. Okay? That's going to get you the best outcome.
don't want to meet me for coffee, it's like I just exclude. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not taking you out. I'm not meeting you any place or picking you up or taking you any place. I'm not going to learn about you at like basically a lock-in period in a restaurant. So coffee is where I meet people, and I've met a lot of nice people. Nobody obviously that's been right for me yet, but I've met some people too that are like, I see the red flags right away, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can see why you're divorced. I can see why your husband left you, or I can see why this happened. It's like, man, you see right away when you have a conversation with people what they talk about, what they focus on, and all that kind of stuff.
Facts. Facts. I went on a date the other day with this chick at this white girl, and she was like, right off the bat, bringing up fighting, like a physical confrontation with her ex and this other girl and fighting her. I'm like, bro, we're on a first date and you're literally like airing out all the craziness that happened in your past relationship and like bragging about the fact that you'll fight a man or bragging about like bro, like who. And on top of that, she was on the strong, independent boss babe thing. So I was like, bro, nah, this ain't it, bro. Like, girls really nowadays, they kind of just lead with their bad qualities. A lot of times, it doesn't even seem like they're trying to like sell themselves as like a good bet for a relationship. It's like they've gotten to this place where it's like it's like kind of shameless. You know what I'm saying? It's a very just shameless society.
Is really pretty apparent. So anyway, it's been my 40s have been super interesting, filled with ups and downs. You know, it's like I went through a divorce at the beginning of my 40s when I was 41. I was going through that, going through the dating process again, and meeting somebody wonderful, and then having a son with them, and then we went through our phase where we split. You know, that was tough, and now back, you know, back in the dating market. So I took actually the first part of this year, the first 9 months of this year, 10 months of this year almost. I took myself out of the dating market. I was like, fuck this shit. I'm like, I'm just gonna be single. I'm just gonna focus on me. I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm just doing me. And so I did that, and then it was like September or so. I was like, oh yeah, I should probably get back out there in the dating market. So I started to use the apps again, and I've been using the apps now for 2 months, plus or minus. Um, so I'm making some connections, but not some really good matches yet. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Like into the new year, especially into the new year is gonna be interesting to watch. And as I turn 50, Jesus, man, um, let me tell you, it's like here's one thing. It's like I generally speaking, for the most part, I'm not that attracted to women my age. I'm not that attracted to them.
Oh, he's in
A lot
trouble
of
now.
them, it's like I'm not attracted to them. They they do not have what it takes to excite me.
Bruv, he's in trouble now. He's in trouble now. He was doing good when he said he would date a woman in her 30s, bro. And he didn't say 20s, he said 30s. The feminists were happy. They were appeased. Now he just said women his age. He isn't feeling it. Oh, they're coming for him now, bruv. They're coming for him now. He done messed up. But look, it's real talk though. He's being honest. But see, we shouldn't be saying that because we can't be real with women. But he's being honest, bro. Like, open up a dating app, set your age thing to like 40 and up. Bro, I'm telling you. Like, you might, sleep with a couple of them because men will sleep with, anything if it's, above or average at least. But it's not something that like you're like, wow, like they're not knocking your socks off. They're not like exciting you. And that's just looks wise. I don't even want to get into the emotional and the red flags and the baggage and the trauma. I can only imagine if the women in my age demographic in their 20s have this much baggage. I can't even imagine in the 40s and 50s. It must be an absolute crazy show going on over there. Like red flag city.
Worry about myself. I'm like, if I'm single in my 50s, man, women in the 50s, there are a few ones that still look good, but for the most part, it's long over. Even some women
He
like
said
in the late
long over.
20s, geez, uh, they look like they're much older. Like they don't age well. But especially when you get in your 40s, your late 40s,
Feminists aren't happy about
man,
that, bro.
it's a real crapshoot. It's a real crapshoot, and when you get with people, and this is where guys have the upper hand. Guys have the upper hand over women. Women have the upper hand over men until about the age of 30, and then it switches, right? And father time is not kind to women at that point. It is very kind to men at that point. And men, that's why men kind of come into their prime in their 30s and generally have the upper hand for the rest of their lives. So it's like men generally speaking, look better than women. There are always exceptions, but generally speaking, they do. So that's
And that's why I don't want men. That's why I'm against the whole black pill community, the whole, not necessarily MGTOW, but there are like sectors of MGTOW that are a little bit too extreme because, okay, you don't have as much success in your 20s. That doesn't mean life is over. Like what? Is your 20s the entirety of your life? No, you have all of your life. People are living longer and longer up until you're like 70, 80s. Okay? If you work on yourself up until that point, you get into your 30s, you step into your prime, you've been working on your fitness, you've been working on your in your career. Bro, the dynamic is going to shift in your favor, okay? If you can't do it in your 20s, then allow time and biology to help you with that. But don't give up, and then now you show up in your 30s when you should be in your prime, and the table should be flipping in your favor, but you decided at, 22, 25, I'm giving up on dating. I'm going the black pill route. I'm going the, extreme route, and you never worked on yourself. So now you're just a broke guy who's not in shape, who doesn't know how to talk to women in your 30s, when you should be, living your best life. But that's what I'm saying. Don't give up on yourself, guys. Just because you're in your 20s and things aren't, amazing, fantastic, you're not pulling women left, right, and center, does not mean that that will not happen in the future, okay? 30s, we have to understand time, biology plays a factor in this, okay? So keep working on yourself. When you get into your 30s, the dynamic will shift and things will be in your favor.
That's one of the challenges as you get older as a guy, is that it's going to be tougher to find women that you are physically attracted to, people that you find like attractive. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of older guys, and I say older, I mean guys in their 30s, even guys in their 40s and beyond, often go for relationships with women that are 15, even 20 years younger than them, because that's who they're attracted to. And
Exactly.
I don't blame them whatsoever. And there are a lot of younger women, and younger is a relative term depending on what we're talking about in terms of an age spread. But younger women who are into older guys. I know that when I was in my 20s, I was into older women. So I totally get that dynamic and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so this is it. I think I'm going to wrap the video up here. My 40s have been super interesting. I'll probably do another video like this before I actually turn 50, because damn, I'm hitting the 50 like in March. So that'll be interesting when that happens. But my 40s have been interesting. And just to give you guys an update as to what I'm doing, and hopefully you guys get some nuggets of wisdom out of this stuff. And a lot of this stuff might correspond with stuff that you are going through, or what you have gone through. So anyway, if that is the case, leave a comment, add a suggestion, add a quote, something like that in the comments below. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, you guys take care. God bless.
That was a great video, great perspective. I'm glad I did this video because a lot of men need to hear this, and it's real. But the takeaways that I want men to get is that, yes, there are difficulties in your 40s with finding the quality of women. You're probably going to have to date younger, okay? You're probably not going to find the women your age attractive. Do not give up on yourself in your 20s, because things do get better as you get older. The dynamic shifts. But yeah, guys, there's going to be pros and cons to getting older as a guy, okay? And money is not going to substitute the connection with a partner, okay? So that's all for today, guys. If you got value from this video, please go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel as well. That is Real Talk with Ethan. And until next time, guys, take it easy.